Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 46 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast, a podcast about all things Hastings United. I'm your host Chris Saverick, and on the show today we've got Simon Stoddard. Simon, a long-time Hughes fan, he helped create the long gone but not forgotten Ghost of United fanzine, but also gives his acerbic insights into his gut feeling column that's an institution in our matchday programme. We go on from there to talk about his love of this great club of ours, deadlines, and the online versus print conundrum. Also on the show we have our ever wonderful fan roundtable, and it's a good one this week. Enjoy, Hastings fans. And now over to Simon Stoddard. The most important thing is I can hear you, Simon.
Okay, mate.
Oh, hang on. There you go. You sorted it.
That was completely accidental. I don't know how the hell I did that, but
Perfect.
I'm here.
What it was, Simon, is you got a gut feeling, eh? How I've led into that.
That's what it is. Gut feeling. Let's press that button and see what happens. Yeah, right. Okay. Far away, Chris. Far away. I'm here now, mate.
No, lovely. Right. Well, I have the wonderful pleasure of having Simon Stoddard here, who writes an excellent column in our wonderful Hastings United programme. Personally, myself, I'm a big fan of printed programmes. I've done videos before for this podcast about trying to keep the printed programme. So I'm all for keeping it going. But I've got Simon here. I want him to talk about his regular piece. But first of all, Simon, how did you first become a Hastings fan? Should we kick it off from there?
Oh, of course. It goes back many years. Goes back about 45, 46 years. The mid-70s, when I hadn't been in Hastings that long, and I just used to buy the Hastings Observer, and I used to read the sports page, and Hastings United Mark I were knocking around then in the old Southern League, and I kept reading the match reports and so on, and I kept thinking I must get up there and have a look, see what it's like, and I eventually got up there. October 1976. Wow. I went and watched Hastings United versus Ramsgate in an FA Cup tie. And United won 2-0. I sat up in the main stand and I loved it. And I was hooked. And the addiction started from then. 45 years now. Wow. It's a long time, but there's people I know who've been going up there 50, 60 years. I know people who've been going up there a lot longer than me. I'm a boy compared to some, believe me. I do know old Clive. There's Clive Stunt, lovely old boy who's been. He's in his 80s now. He still goes to games home and away, and he's been following them for at least 65 years.
Oh, so, brilliant.
Yeah,
fantastic support. So that's how you got the bug. So you've been following for many years. How did the whole program gig come about? How did that come about?
It started writing stuff started with the old fanzine, actually, the Ghost of United fanzine, which I first came across in, I think it was around 1992, 1991, something like that. Saw a couple of lads standing outside the game one match day, plugging this magazine in a red cover, the Ghost of United it was called, and fanzines were just getting going in those days. And,
yes, remember those days, yeah.
Yeah, and Hastings United had their own, and it was Dave Moore and Steve Weeks were the two guys involved. Steve now lives out in Sweden. I haven't seen him for years. Dave, funnily enough, I saw him just the other day at the Cray Valley game for the first time in years. So he's still in Hastings. But I got involved with the fanzine and started writing stuff for that. And I eventually took it on and produced it myself for about 9 years. And then I got involved I was asked if I wanted to write something for the programme.
Simon, was that after the fanzine stopped, or did you then pass that over to someone? Or
No, I if I recall correctly, I think I managed to do both at the same time.
Jesus.
Quite challenging, really, because when you write a fanzine, you call a spade a spade. You say what you like. But in a program, you've got to be a bit more politically correct. And I remember agonising a couple of seasons ago when I was putting together my gut feeling thing for a home game, whether to use the word bollocks or not. Can I use the word bollocks or not? I thought, bollocks to it. I will, because I will. Because Jurgen Klopp used it, the Liverpool boss. He used it in a BBC interview.
There you go.
I thought, well, if it's good enough, if it's good enough for the BBC, they got it. If it's good enough for the BBC, it's good enough for the Hastings United programme. So I used the word bollocks, but I agonised over that. But I eventually decided to use it in the fanzine. Anything goes. Yeah, anything goes. Yeah. But with the programme, on and off, I've been doing stuff for the programme for about 25 years. I suppose, when I think about it. Back in the early days, we used to print it ourselves at the pilot field.
Oh, okay,
in the secretary's office, in Tony Cousins' office, underneath the main stand there. There was a printing machine there, small printing machine in the corner, and we used to print our own program. So the Hastings Town program, as it was then, it wasn't a glotty production like most other clubs had, because virtually everyone else sent their stuff off to the printers. We did it ourselves. And whilst ours might not have been the glossy production that other clubs had, it was bang up to date. It was bang up to date. If we had a game on Tuesday evening, it had all the stuff on it from Saturday and Sunday. If there'd been games on Sunday, you still don't get that with the printed program today. With some places, it's just not up to date because you've got print deadlines. Everything's got to be at the printers by a certain date. And I found this very, very recently when Chris Ackerton moved on. And then when Gary Elphick was appointed to replace him, I found exactly that then. I was writing stuff and it was technically out of date because other developments had taken place by the time you bought the program on the Saturday. Yeah,
that's crazy.
But I know what you're going to talk. I know what you're going to raise though regarding the program, to go digital or not. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to come to that. I'm not. I'm very much against digital. So that but we'll talk about that. But no, I was going to say, from our point of view, from the supporters club, we print off stuff that we give out, and we do these. We found this with being out of date immediately. We do these fixture lists, and we had all this fixture congestion. We printed something Tuesday afternoon, and by Tuesday evening, two of the games were already wrong. That we'd printed out, and then we'd printed like 1,000 of them, and it was just, oh my Jesus,
that's frustrating, isn't it? Yeah,
slightly annoying. Simon, so you, just for those who don't buy the program, okay, I mean, I'm a regular. I'm 46. I'm of that era that still buys the program. Not as many buy them now, but luckily at Hastings, I feel there's a healthy amount of people that do, which is good. Yeah. Your sort of column, Gut Feeling's been going for donkey's years. I mean, it's a great mishmash of non-league, because we can be in our bubble in Hastings United. You do mention a lot about what's going on outside Hastings United, a bit about the league in general. I was just looking at through some of my old programs, talking about records for clubs, talking about players who've moved on from the club and how they're getting on, things like that when you're in that echo chamber of Hastings United, it's for me personally, it's nice to just see that, this guy, I wondered what he was up to. Oh, he's doing all right, and all that stuff. Yeah. And I always like it. It definitely sounds like it's in your language. There's no Stasi that's gone through it beforehand, before it's been printed. No. Sounds definitely like your words.
Yeah, what you read is what I write, and it's not. I don't think there's nothing really controversial in there. It's just you try to introduce something that keeps people interested. It doesn't have to be football. Because most people that go to football, they're interested in other stuff as well, cricket, rugby, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I've got a great working relationship with Paul Hoggard, the program editor. Never met him, haven't talked to him yet. But this is the internet for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the internet. It's marvelous what you can do. And there are occasions, many times, when I've written my program notes on my phone from my favourite watering hole in Angeles City in the Philippines. Because I haven't been able to do it recently because of COVID. I haven't been able to get out there for the best part of 2 years.
Yeah.
But I've done my stuff on my phone out there. And the things you can do on a phone these days, when I think back to my first days of doing this stuff, when I bought a second-hand electronic typewriter, an electric typewriter, and I thought, wow, check this out. This is the business, you know. And now you'd go to a museum to look at something like that, wouldn't you? And you'd just shake your head and think, did we really use those, you know? But at the time, it was the business, you know.
Yeah.
But going on to where we were with digital and paper programs and so on, I do hear what people say about the print. I always buy a printed one. I always do, wherever I go, and I always buy an Hastings one. Always do. I saw a survey in, I think it might have been in Twitter the other day. I'm sure I've done a screenshot of it somewhere. Twitter is a gold mine of information. There's all sorts of stuff in Twitter, isn't there? You stumble across all kinds of stuff. And there was this survey about
not always good stuff, but yeah.
No, you're right. You got to take the rough with the.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of stuff in there, and there was this survey about asking people what they thought about programs. Do they want the digital version or the printed paper version? And I don't know how many people have replied to it, but 84% preferred the paper version. So there's an awful lot of people out there who prefer to stick with buying the paper program, and there is a lot to be said for it. The other side of the coin is, and I chat with Paul about this, or exchange emails with Paul about it, about going digital, and because it will happen eventually, it will come eventually. Is that it makes it easier for Paul? It would make it easier for me. You don't have to worry so much about the print deadlines. You can change things. There's lots of other things that you could do. I mean, you could have a program with a direct link to a video of something that's happened, or video of games, or something like that. The possibilities are endless. You can do things with digital that you can't do with the paper one. But I do understand why people like buying a paper printed program, and like I said, I always buy one myself.
Yeah, I mean, my personal thoughts, and I've done a video recently with Chris Tuck, who's non-league programs on Twitter. He does a lot of stuff on that, and about saving the printed program. I mean, I don't see why we can't do both. To be honest,
yeah.
I don't think people read online programs if they're honest. They particularly say your things like your gut feeling opinion columns. I think they're personally, for me, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just I'm one of the ones that are dying off, but I think it's a great read before match day. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's just that, I suppose it's those traditions, isn't it, that you just get used to. I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm a Philistine, Simon, and I just don't want the internet to take over, maybe. So
yeah. Well, thanks for the kind words about the column. I love doing it. It's always a challenge, because there are occasions when I'm trying to fit it in with work and so on. Because I'm still working on. I work on the railway. I work shifts, 12-hour shifts, and sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge getting it done. But Paul asks me to do 2 pages now. It was 4, but they reduced the size of the. As you probably know, they reduced the size of the program a season or 2 ago. So that in a way made it easier for me. But every program is the same. I will start thinking, right, okay, I've got to cobble together the next program. What am I going to write about? What am I going to waffle on about this time? And by the time I've got it all done, I'm leaving stuff out because there's always stuff about. And I'm sure, well, you'll have seen, if you read as you read it regularly, you'll see that I grab stuff off the internet, I grab stuff off Twitter or wherever I see it, I think, that looks good. I'll have that, and of course, again, this is where you can combine digital with the printed thing, because I can just do a screenshot of something, cobble it together, and send it off with the email to Paul, and the next thing, it's appearing in a printed program. So it's clever what you can do these days. And
I did like that screenshot you put on. What was it? The man who he was in his own search party. Can you remember that one?
yeah.
Oh, that did tickle me.
I don't know how long he was in the search party before he realised they were out there looking for him. Yeah, I know. It's not all to do with football, but so on. Let's have a laugh,
No, that tickled me. That did. The internet, Twitter, newspapers, wherever you like. There's so much material out there, and of course, there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on at games too. Because what I've started doing now is keeping an eye out for what other clubs are doing with regard to the programs. And very recently, I went to the game at Phoenix Sports, digital program, Three Bridges on Saturday, digital program. There's more and more clubs leaning towards that, and we will eventually go that way too, because there is the cost as well. I don't know how much United spend on it. All costs money. Yeah, you broke up a little bit there, Simon. You were just saying, I think I heard what you were saying. You were saying that obviously there's a cost price to printing, and that's why a lot of clubs are going to online. Yeah.
I think cost plays a part in it. Convenience. It is easier, I'm sure, to go digital.
But it's not better, Simon. It's not better. It's not better to go digital.
I know. I do hear what you say.
What's that Charlton Heston quote? That that only through my cold, dead hands will you stop the printed program.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, programs will carry on as they are for a while. Yeah, of course they will. Yeah. But I think things will eventually. I think eventually we're going to go digital. I have thought about reviving the fanzine. There are people that say it'd be good to see the fanzine up and running again, because I did enjoy doing that.
I'd love to contribute. Yeah. I'd love that to happen, but it's easy saying it, and then there's another thing getting it together, isn't there? So
it's fine. It's finding the time to do it, and so on. And it was always great fun standing outside the ground with my little table, flogging stuff, and I always used to make sure the club got some money from it as well. So everyone was happy. I covered the printing costs, and I think for the last couple I actually did them on the photocopier at work, and got away with that. I don't know if I'd get away with it now. But this was a long time ago. The last fanzine was out in 2003, I think. I think it was the very disappointing relegation season of 2002, 2003. It was around that time, I think, the fanzine came to an end. I'll just get into the time where I just didn't have the time to keep going with it, and it eventually stopped, as a lot of them do. But there's a lot of stuff to write about out there. But with the program, you have to think a little bit more about the correct thing to say. You've got to be a little bit more careful about what you say. But I'm glad you like it anyway.
Not just put any old bollocks in there. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I did. I agonised over that. I thought, can I use this word or not? Yeah, and I did. Yeah, if it was good enough for the BBC, it was good enough for the
absolutely, Simon. It's excellent. Just quickly though, has anyone ever in all your years been there sort of tried to question anything put in there, or that you can't say something? Have you ever had that issue?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've had some people tell me that I'm writing bollocks. Yeah, we'll use that word again in a different context. I have been accused. But it doesn't matter if you're writing for a little semi-professional club's fanzine, whatever. You're putting yourself on a pedestal, and people are going to have a pop at you if they don't agree with what you say. And of course, there are times when you get it wrong. This and that and the other. But I think half the secret is just, okay, I got that wrong. Apologise if you have to, or stand your corner if you think you're right.
If you're not right, if you're right, no apology.
Yeah, I remember Mick Mapleston, who took the club over after Mark Gardner, the first of our lottery winners all those years ago. After he moved on, Mick Mapleston took over, and he saw something that I'd written in the fanzine at the time, and he was extremely unhappy with it. But he got completely the wrong end of the stick, and I don't think I ever did convince him that I was actually I can't remember exactly what I said about it now, but I was actually paying him a compliment. But he got completely the wrong end of the stick, and he wasn't happy about what I wrote. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth when you're writing stuff like that. But the fanzine was great fun. But I like doing the program too, and two different challenges there.
Yeah. Well, and long may it continue. I mean, are you any thoughts about hanging the pen up, or are you going to carry on? And
no, not yet. I'll keep soldiering on with it. When this COVID business clears up and when the Philippine borders reopen, I'm hoping to get out there, and I'll be out there more than I am here.
Yeah,
I hate this time of the year for a start. But of course, the trouble is you miss the football, but you can keep up with it, can't you? Because this internet thing, it's a marvelous piece of kit. And out in the Philippines, you've got a 7 or 8 hour time difference, depending on what time of year you're out there. And an evening game here is kicking off at 3:45 in the morning out there. But I never have any problems staying out that late, so I can always find somewhere to follow the game, And it won't be long, but it won't be long before maybe you'll be doing a film commentary on a game and streaming it live. It will eventually come.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
But there's nothing like standing behind the goal, is there? There's nothing to beat that.
Oh no,
just enjoying the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's nothing like being there. There's nothing like being there. Well, this Simon, just again, look, from my heart, great little piece. Gut feeling. I 100% recommend anyone that walks in that bloody ground, get your program, turn straight to the gut feeling. We need to hear what Simon's gut feeling is. It's always entertaining and informative. But also, he's spoken about the fanzine. If we could get that started again, that would be fantastic. And that's maybe another conversation for another time. Simon, thanks very much for your time, and have a good evening, sir. And I'll see you at the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, tomorrow night we'll be there.
Yeah, be there, mate. You take care, Simon. Yeah.
Cheers, now, mate.
It's the big walk. As part of Walk and Talk Men's Mental Health, there's been a walk arranged from Eastbourne to Hastings. Saturday, 27th of November, Walk and Talk Men's Mental Health hosts walks across the country. Come be a part of the nationwide men's movement, getting men out, walking, talking and being active. Join up and help your fellow man. For this walk, contact by email, which is theproperblokesclub@gmail.com, or try that Twitter @blokesclub, or by phone on 07397 501 110. The email again is theproperblokesclub@gmail.com. Try that Twitter @blokesclub, and that mobile again is 07397 501 110. Saturday, 27th of November. Don't miss it. Hey Hughes fans, it's that time of year again. It's Mick and Jules HUFC Christmas Quiz, Friday the 3rd of December. Be there by 7 for a 7:15 start. Venue is the HUFC Sports and Social Club, and the cost is £20 per team and there's a maximum 6 people per team. Please book in advance. The online ticket link will be in the description in this week's podcast. Just give it a click. Or please visit the Hastings United fans Facebook page and ask there. It's always a cracking quiz and a great get-together. Please, please, please get those tickets now before they're all gone. So remember, that's Mick and Jules HUFC Christmas Quiz, Friday 3rd of December, HUFC Sports and Social Club. See you there. You say you need a plumber? You also want them to be members of the finest team in Sussex, if not the world? Well, it's not a monster, it's G&S Mechanical Services for all your plumbing needs, covering all the South East, even Whitehawk. Give that man Gary Elphick a call on 07793 125 571. That's 07793 125 571. You won't be sorry. And now it's that time again for the SBTS Fan Roundtable. A big shout to Leon, Johnny Wills, Robbie, George, and Flat White Andy for making it happen.
Yeah, I'm just tired from work. It's that time of year. Christmas is coming. So.
Yeah, I forgot what work do you do again?
Postman.
Yeah, I know about all you lot, mate. It's like window cleaners. Filthy. You're filthy, you lot. Yeah, well, you weren't blowing that horn, were you, George?
No, I was playing the annoying drum, wasn't I? That's what I do.
You haven't sent me the thing for the
songs for James Hole?
No, I'm not. You ain't. None of you lot are going to do that. I've given up on that. Right. Oh, here he comes. Drum roll, everyone. Come on, there's Mr. Wills.
Let's go, Wills.
We've got him. Let's go, Willsy. Let's go.
The only thing I could say, the only thing I think up for James was something I've had a rhyming couplet, which is along the lines of "He lives near the ground, his carbon footprint sound." But if anyone can do anything with that,
that is sensational.
That's the sort of thing they sing at Forest Green, isn't it?
I thought that was pushing it a bit for a football chant.
Oh,
let's make it happen.
There you go. We got the chant sorted. There we go. Call the podcast off. I'd say we got the chant.
Remember in the car to Uckfield, Robbie, we were talking about writing sonnets rather than chants. That's your first one.
It reminds me of actually one of the first things I want to talk about. That was almost a come to Jesus moment for me there. When I walked into the ground, funnily enough, yesterday, I had another come to Jesus moment where Lee and Christine were by the ramp as we went into the bar, and I'm like, "You're right, Lee," and he said he's Jesus, and I'm like, "Eh?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, I'm Jesus Christ," and I'm like, "All right then, could you please forgive me for all my sins?" And Jesus forgave me for all my sins, so I feel like a new man. Just so you know, just the sort of things that happen.
I didn't think we'd have the Saviour following Hastings away, but there you go. We have the Saviour following Hastings away. Who knew?
Lee is not Lee. He is Jesus.
So did you get some fast track arrangement then, Chris?
He just he grabbed my hand. You know, like the Pope would grab your hand, or like the papal...
Did you kiss his ring? Did you kiss Lee's ring? That is the important question.
This is what I didn't do. I should have kissed Lee's ring. I was just in awe of Jesus, and well, I don't know where we can go from there, but only downwards.
Well, shouldn't you go down him?
Okay, let's get in a bit crass. Been a bit crass there. So, right in, I think we've had a good week this week. Oh, I've got the lovely Flat White Andy, Leon, John, Robbie, George. I'm awaiting others, but we're going to crack on with it. So let's talk Three Bridges. First of all, Three Bridges, I was unable to make that game as I was being a dutiful husband and father. And that's my excuse, and I'm willing to stick to it forever.
There's time for everything.
There is a time. So I believe that Robbie and George were the only ones that made it. Was it just
George didn't go? No.
George, it was only Robbie.
And I did.
Of course, you went as well, didn't you, Andy? Because you got sort of the car. Well, who wants to kick it off then?
Well, let's have a flat white Andy rendition, shall we? From the side view.
From between the dugouts. Very interesting between the dugouts, actually, has to be said, because you're so close to them. It was quite good fun to see to see them operating. But I thought overall it got better and better and better, and I think we suffered from that. We played quite nicely at the start, but didn't really. We had a really good chance early on. I'm sure Tom Chalmers had a really good chance early on. If that had gone in, might have been different. But when they scored that freaky goal, and their number, was it their 11, Robbie? Was it 11?
Got the goal?
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. It was the pot shot from nowhere, wasn't it?
He had a wonderful 5 minutes. He's almost got booked for fighting with Sam Hasler. Then he scored a goal from almost 30 yards out, and then almost broke Tom Chalmers' leg, within the space of about 5 minutes. So that was, he packs a whole game into 5 minutes. We did well. The thing I liked,
Andy, was it that type of game though? Was it feisty game, or was it just a single
thing? Once he'd gone, the game fairly normal. I mean, they dug in. To be fair, I think they played pretty well. Considering they had 10 men, they dug in. They still left a couple of men. They left a couple of men out all the time, which wasn't a nice situation to have to deal with. But we played quite progressively, I think, and just stepped it up. And the big key was for Jack Dixon scoring that goal before half time. And then the second half, it was fairly one-way traffic. And even Ollie Black was making sort of going into nosebleed territory and breaking into the opposition half, which I thought was good. That Finn O'Mara had a really good debut. In fact, I was convinced he scored the goal from where we were, but obviously Ben Pope must have just got in front of him because he
was the one who celebrated. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. So I still would love to see a video of that. We were convinced it was O'Mara who'd scored it, but who cares? I think the moment of the game for me, though, despite all that, was Craig Stone's tackle when they made the breakaway. My God, that was just absolutely sensational.
It was like a gazelle in speed. How he got there, I don't know.
The timing, everything was just a thing of beauty. It was just a superb, a life-saving bit of work.
Yeah, they started that on the video, didn't they? On the Twitter, I've seen that. That was absolutely brilliant.
The video doesn't do it justice. The video does not do it justice. How good that tackle was.
How far it diagonally came across and covered it off, and he just made it. It was so risky, but
Yeah.
Hang on one second, just so you know, right? He diagonally come across. It was so risky. You never know. There might be an outtakes that might happen one day.
And also, where did you see
even Frankie Howard? Even Frankie Howard would struggle to get something out of that one, Chris. That line, you need to really chop that one up.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I don't have any time anymore. Right, go on. Sorry to cut in there, Andy. That's so rude.
So the nice thing, I thought they played quicker on Saturday. You could almost see a little bit of a change in the way they played, and they took it to them. But Three Bridges were really obdurate, would be my posh word of the day for them.
We've always got to get one.
Yeah, but we did really well to overcome them, really well, and they just kept on, stuck with it. And, I think we might end up saying quite similar things about last night, actually.
There was a lot of similarities. I think Three Bridges are much more defensive than Singapore were, though, because at one point Craig Stowe was halfway through their half, unopposed.
Yeah.
They were just sitting deep, like the last CG Animals type of thing. Like, we're not moving, it's our goal. And there was loads of half chances. Ball, there was an open goal, the ball just didn't bounce and set for Norrie Scott. By the time it did, the defenders got back, a couple of posts, a couple of good saves. Finn O'Mara scored his first touch in Hastings' shirt, I'm pretty sure, with that cross. Yeah, it was, as you say, very similar. Good performance. We didn't look like we were going to lose, but to that tackle, out of nowhere. Great tackle of Stoney, moment of the game, you're right. But so we always felt like the goal was coming. And it finally did. So yeah, jolly good away day in a car park.
No, I did feel like they were going to score. Funny place though, Three Bridges. It's just based. I never realised. It's just based. It's Crawley, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a car park. It's just a car park. It's a pitch in a car park.
Why they've even given it a different name, I've no idea.
Is there any bridges near it?
No, certainly not three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely 3 fans.
That's what I say. Was there many fans there? Please, Robbie, did you sing there? You've got more bridges and fans, please.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
Good. Well done, fella. Well done. Right. Have we got any other thoughts on Three Bridges? I mean, I was watching the Twitter on refresh all the time, and it was, Smithy was not pumping out enough information for my liking, but then that's just the stress of when we weren't winning. Leon, John, Georgie, any thoughts on Three Bridges at all?
I'd completely forgotten. I was saying before this pod started, I was up at Villa Park and I was absolutely wrecked before completely out of my mind.
Leon, I think we didn't, I don't know if I was the only one. We didn't get any of what you just said there. Can you
really?
Again, yeah, it just cut up.
It really wasn't that interesting anyway.
Did you get smashed watching Brighton lose?
I did, yes.
You deserve
football
it, mate.
was just a side distraction. I completely forgot about Hastings. I'm sorry.
If we now have Jesus at our ground, Leon. So
I'll have to seek his forgiveness, please.
There you go.
Yeah. Kiss his ring.
Well, there you go. Well, I was going to say maybe Christine's kissed you. No, right. Anyway. No, stop it. That's your fault, John. Right.
You will be issuing a full written apology to the Church of England this time next week. Contrite podcaster.
But Leon, actually, going. You went to Villa Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah, at Villa Park. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah. Frustrating for the. Yeah, I do somehow remember the game. I don't remember the hour before the game. Yeah, it was just frustrating from a Brighton point of view. Really, I've gone back to the old ways of, dominating a lot of the ball and not really creating much. Hey ho, my fault.
Yeah,
for watching Brighton
game. She went to a proper game, mate. Three Bridges.
Yeah, I should have played for Equisham, shouldn't I?
I did see. I saw the goals from the Brighton game, and I said to Laura, we sat there, the packed grounds, the manic behaviour of the Villa fans, and I just love that wild feeling of optimism that sweeps through a club at moments like that, and you just know that it's just going to gradually drain away over the course of the season. So you were there at their peak level of enthusiasm.
Yeah, shame it wasn't a couple of weeks before, but hey ho.
Yeah, so Brighton picked a bad one, probably. It was always going to go that way, wasn't it?
But like I say, I wasn't really there for the football. But...
Sounds good fun.
There you go. Well, moving away from Brighton, George, any thoughts on Three Bridges? Otherwise, we'll move on to the women's win.
Just a note on the Three Bridges themselves. There are 3 bridges over a stream in the area, and that's what Three Bridges is named after. So there you go. There's your fact. Bringing top quality content to this podcast.
A stream, not even like a river or anything.
Not like an inlet.
Yeah, it's a tributary. It's not even a proper river.
Are these bridges anywhere near the ground though?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's near the train station, which is near the ground.
Well, the benefit of Andy is there an Audi there?
Know why it's called the
News just in. No, I didn't know. We didn't, because it's so near to Crawley town centre. I mean, there's just nothing there. There's just literally nothing there.
Not even an Audi.
No Audi.
There's a little.
Same thing.
Oh.
Ooh, they're fighting words, they are.
I missed it, so I couldn't get it in my notebook, my stopper's book.
Right then, well, have we got anyone that went to the women's win?
I did.
Oh, Robbie, it's so. Yeah, I love you, Robbie. Great win. Tell us about it. Now we're into the semi-final, is it?
We're on the semi-final. We're playing Brighton, I believe, at home. I'm not sure on the date, so I can't confirm that. You have to look on the website to find the date. But it was my memory. It was a very cold day and a very cold performance, to be honest, because both sides did not seem to be liking how nasty cold it was. Never seemed to get going. We seemed to be passed around the back and resort to long balls, maybe a bit too much. But overall, despite that, it was still quite a good performance. Still controlled the game comfortably. Look, I think could easily got a few more than we did. Say 3-0, maybe flatters them slightly, but overall, really good performance. A couple of good goals, and they keep marching on. I can't see anything else but women win the league, so it's all good.
That would be nice. I mean, I don't know which team Brighton would turn out, because their first team is going great guns at the moment. So if they put
it's the under 21s, it's similar to the men's team do. They put one of their youth teams out in the Sussex Cup, so it'd be definitely Brighton under 21s women's. I could be wrong about that, but I believe it is them.
It will be something like that. But so that'll be that's a good draw in some ways, because gives them a nice little test, doesn't it?
Indeed, I think it should be good fun. I would recommend going. I think that'd be a good game.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would bring quite a few more people than normal.
Hopefully, it's a bit warmer. Or if not, actually have Bovril. Because if you not have Bovril on a Sunday, I was furious.
What? They don't.
I was cold and they had no Bovril. I was livid. That's an outrage.
That is an outrage, Robbie. The
end of days.
Yeah. Well, there was the stink smell of Bovril in the air last night. But anyway, shall we? Shall we move on to the magnificent victory against Sittingbourne? Who wants to crack into that one? Maybe we speak to Barrack the Lion-O Leon first, please. Hashtag Barrack the Lion-O. What's your thoughts? Because you obviously had your observation post just by the linesman. What's your thoughts on the game, Leon?
Oh, well, I did move around closer to the goal, not quite in with the hooligans, because your swearing is a bit much. It's it's fucking disgraceful language. But anyway, on the game, it was. For the first 20 minutes, we just dominated, didn't we? Our passing was fantastic, especially down the left-hand wing. We had so much time, didn't we? And and then I think we sort of started making a few sort of sloppy mistakes, and maybe that sort of spurred Sittingbourne on a bit, gave them a bit of confidence. And I can't really remember what happened for their goal. I remember seeing it
just switched off, didn't we?
For some strange reason, Chalmers got doubled up on. The ball just wellied over the top, and Chalmers was a bit isolated. And then I said to John, I saw John at half time, I was convinced that their centre forward was just lurking offside right in front of Rodgers. And the ball went past him to the bloke who put it in. But it's the sort of goal we're conceding at the moment. We're just sort of getting into the game. We're not scoring when we're getting a good start, and then getting caught. So I don't think they'll need me to tell them that. It just seems to be a strange phenomenon at the moment.
Heads didn't go down though, did they?
No.
Even though we went 1-0 down, I felt we still created without any sort of end product getting in there though, was it? It was, there was good little passages of play. Just that last ball in was the thing that was lacking. But I was well entertained. And what do we think of the sending off? First of all, obviously that was kind of a bit of a game changer. We're all in agreement that was a red.
Yeah, I think it's just it's not necessarily the tackle itself. It was the way the tackle was approached, and it was reckless. In the letter of the law, I think he's got to send him off.
He wasn't going to though, was he?
Huh?
The ref was not going to send him off. The line overruled him.
No, I don't think he was going to, but I feel like the way he went in endangered the player.
I think Ben Pope. I think it was. I think George has got it right. It was the attitude behind the tackle, because Ben Pope went in really hard down on the touchline, and the ball popped out, and he went off with it, and the bloke just chased him down. He was going to get him no matter what, and so it was the way he chased him down and leapt at him. Whether or not he hurt him badly, it was still the intent behind the tackle was pretty obviously vengeful after not getting given the free kick on the touchline, I think. So he could easily have just booked him though. It wouldn't have surprised me if he just booked him, I have to say. Would have been annoyed, but it wouldn't have surprised me.
Did look like he jumped in a little bit though.
Yeah.
When they kind of look like they jump in, that's when it's more than likely going to be a red. I think John, you were telling me that when obviously Dane was gesturing at the ref, like look at his leg. You were saying that maybe he pinched a tomato ketchup sachet from the vendors and he had smeared it on Ben Pope's leg. That's what you were telling me, weren't you, John?
I don't know where you do. I don't think it was me, that came from me, but I did remember hearing that. Yeah, I think the studs were raised enough, and he was out of control sliding in. But it was a good reaction from Ben, wasn't it? Well, he probably was hurt, but it drew attention to it. But then it seemed to go on for ages before a decision was made. And I probably a little bit of influence from the crowd there. But yes, it was a turning point, wasn't it? Hopefully in every game we're going to have some opponent sent off early on. And that should help out for the rest of the season. But yes.
We didn't lose our rag, did we? That's the thing. We didn't lose our rag in that game, so...
I mean, I'd prefer us not to see the goal before every red card. It was going to happen for every game. I prefer not to go 1-0 down before a red card.
We put ourselves in trouble by going 1-0 down, didn't we? We gave them something to cling on to again. So, that was the problem. They had something to cling on to. So, yeah, it made it hard for us. And these teams are all capable of sitting there. But, I mean, the law of averages went against them eventually.
Yeah, Andy, you called the right score at half time, didn't you?
I did, John. Yes. Well, I'm the soothsayer. So, yeah.
What did you call? You said 2-1?
Yep.
Oh.
I said 2-2, so I was really disappointed when we scored that win and they didn't reply.
I should really call Andy a different name because long throws don't work, Andy. Well, I do believe that maybe a long throw did work yesterday, sir.
One thing we had this discussion in the stand actually, and I likened it to that probability anecdote where if you put 1 million chimpanzees in front of 1 million typewriters, eventually you get the works of Shakespeare, and that was the footballing equivalent of
3 points, mate. 3 points. Get out of it.
Don't you get Hastings direct?
Georgie, come on. Thoughts on the game?
Just for me, the big moment of the game, we just equalised, and it was 51 minutes in or something like that. And I remember the ball being, I got quite drunk last night, so none of this is accurate. But I remember the ball being cleared.
You weren't that bad.
No, but like...
Oh, you might have carried on probably when I...
Yeah, so... Yeah. The ball was cleared, and there were no free bridges. There definitely wasn't any free bridges there. There were no. It was disgraceful. The Free Bridges players had totally not turned. They didn't turn up last night. Free Bridges, so there was no sitting ball players at all further forward than up the centre circle.
I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
And the ball seemed to dribble back to Louis, and that was 40 minutes to go. And then we just had 40 minutes pretty much of a barrage of attacks. They weren't, and at that point, I thought they did set up to win. I think they're one of the first teams this season to try and come here and actually
win.
Teams
aren't scared of us anymore. We've gone for this bad little form. Teams aren't scared of us.
Yeah, but it was good to see, and actually it made for a bit of a better game. And but at that point, 1-1, I think any team with down to 10 men for that long would take a point. So fair play to them. But yeah, it was just at that point, we just realised, wow, this is just going to be attack versus defence for the rest of the game. And absolutely brilliant moment at the end.
Oh, wonderful.
The whole team. That video the club's put up today on the social media.
Absolute carnage celebrations.
And the noise as well. The noise has been...
It was a proper roar. It was a
proper roar, and you can tell the difference between like the equaliser roar and the winning roar.
Yeah.
But they're absolutely brilliant. And just the players seem so up for it, which is wonderful after 2 changes in the management, really, or little shifts. So, yeah, it's brilliant to see they're all up for it. And you think some teams have got players that have been there for a long time, who are like sort of players that get a game sometimes, and then they've got their sort of best players that they bring in, who they're really good, but can't always rely on in terms of loyalty. We've got some of the best players in the league, and they're the players that are really loyal to the club. So it's not like we haven't got players who are like, I'd liken to a Kevin Peterson, he's really good, not really a team player, but he's really good, so we've got to play him. We've got all our best players are the ones that are loyal to the club and want us to do well. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah, the reaction to the goal was quite telling, wasn't it? One thing that I thought about.
What was the reaction in the main stand, Andy?
Light applause.
3 people woke up. No, it's really.
They throw their handkerchiefs in the air.
The atmosphere in there is pretty positive. Actually, it has to be said.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's not going to be the same as behind the goal, but you can definitely tell that people are positive. You know,
COVID positive.
Yeah, well, quite possibly.
Yeah,
but no, they're no, it's all right. It's all right. I think the belief, you can see the belief in the players that that they just kept on going. And I think that people can see that. People can see that desire. And I mean, a lot of the players a lot better than I do. But you can feel that. You can feel that when you're there overlooking the dugout and that, and watching the game, spread out in front of you. You can see that desire. What I was going to say was, Gary Elphick is making good substitutions. He's putting that's something that's really changed. Aggie was beginning to really get the yips with his substitutions, I think.
What, leaving it too long, yeah?
Yeah. And in my opinion, sat on my sofa here.
Do you know what Clint Eastwood said about opinions? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Indeed.
Sorry.
But some are more valid than others.
They are, and more prominent.
Yeah, but no, he's making good subs. I mean, again, the subs yesterday.
Ollie Black long throw substitution, tactical genius.
The long throw substitution really does work when it comes on as a tactic like that. It's different. It's not.
Moving the goalpost, classic.
It's better than better than the endless carpet bombing that they get used to and deal with. And Kenny Pogue coming on in the middle made a difference. And Dave Martin, the way he can just cross a ball from in front of a defender makes a difference, and take a corner. And he's choosing his subs to freshen things up and change the game a bit. And I think that's that. Well, I know I think that's a factor, and I think there's lots of things there to be positive about.
And I said something mean about the main stand. I've actually think the main stand's been quite positive since all this has happened. They have been quite good, and there's been a bit of noise from there. There's not much.
Yeah, the mask has to leave, and we walk through there because the tunnel's out.
Any other thoughts on a one? Oh, actually, talking of celebrations, I've just been sent a picture from CJ. I don't know if you remember, but that goal celebration at the end, he buggered his leg up. He sent me a picture of a very purple and black leg that he's got. He's in agony, poor bugger. But I mean, he said it was worth it at the time. I'm not sure if it is now, but yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic contraption.
Yeah.
Well, best wishes to you, CJ. Hope it doesn't slow down the shagging.
Yeah.
Oh, can always do it on one leg, CJ. Also, best wishes to Dean Pogue, who's not been able to get to games. I've had a little bit of interaction with him, and may we see him at the Pilot Field as soon as we can. Chaps, any more about this game, or shall we move on to the games coming up at Haywards Heath?
All round perfect day, Rob. All round.
It was, yeah. Beer bottle and a late winner. Can't get any better than that.
Actually, chaps, I had to go, but you had some interaction with the players afterwards. What was their feelings?
They seemed buzzy. They seemed happy. They all seemed good. They were just.
Yeah. Oh, you lot too drunk to talk to them then, or something?
Well, we had a chat, but it was just normal ones.
Oh, it was private conversations. I understand.
Yeah, we were like, we were fucking Laverick, don't we? Yeah, we all hate the podcast.
Yeah, fucking Laverick, wanker, yeah, and all that. Yeah, I know. All right, and okay. But yeah, so we're moving on to Haywards Heath. So Haywards Heath, if you don't mind, we'll move on to Haywards Heath.
Yeah, you mind? You'll pay for it this time. So
This is the whole point of this podcast this week. It is, why should I pay to get into Haywards? No, it isn't, right? It isn't that. Haywards Heath, cracking game, another cracking game. This is, if we could turn them over, I think our season's back on fire. I mean, it's already all right now, but if we get a result there, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but
4 wins and a bounce and knocking one of our playoff rivals, potential title rivals, down a notch would be fantastic.
Yeah, we're literally one place under the playoffs now, I think.
Yeah, one place. We've got a couple of games down on some teams, but we're a bit behind. But I still stand by that what I said before the game yesterday, that the Sittingbourne game for me is bigger than the Haywards Heath game because it is a home game against a team mid-table who are doing all right. They're doing better than they have done in previous seasons, and that's the game that we got to win. It was a must-win. I don't feel Haywards Heath is as much of a must-win as last night was. And we've got that job done, so we've got that positivity going into that.
And you joke about the main stand, Chris, but what those home wins are doing now is just when we were going through a bit of a mini crisis.
Yeah,
is it's kept the home fan interest as well, because there's the hardcore, then there's another group that take it up to about maybe 400 or 500. Then beyond that, it's Hastings are doing well, therefore we'll go along, and that those wins are crucial for keeping that 700-800 people coming through the door as well. So it's makes a difference, keeps everything ticking, and the people keep coming, and it'll keep on going. Things like last night, it'll just keep on going because of that.
Oh, you've always got to love a last-minute winner. I mean,
oh god, when a game's shit and you win in the last minute, it just doesn't matter. It's actually better sometimes than playing well.
Any other thoughts, guys? I mean, we've also got we've got a few games going. We've got Chichester at home as well, aren't we, on the Tuesday? So
with Haywards Heath.
Sorry, Leon, what you say?
Yeah, so with Haywards Heath, I think we might be playing them at just the right time. So I think their form's dropped massively their last sort of 3, 4, 5 games. I think so.
In terms of form, we've got 9 points from the last 6 games, and they've got 10 points from the last 6 games. And in that time, they've lost in the league to Hive, who are shit, and they lost as well to Faversham as well, 3-1 to Faversham, who are average team in this division. So yeah, they're not doing that great. I think
they've just started losing a few, haven't they? Because they were winning from the beginning of the season. I'm sure I think you're right there, Leon. I think that it could be perfect timing, Leon. Let's hope that, mate.
Their last 4 games, right? Their last 4 games, lost to Faversham.
Yep.
Lost to Hive.
Yep.
Lost to Brighton, must be the Sussex Cup, 6-0.
Yeah. Okay.
And they drew against Cray Valley, which is a decent result. But no win in the last 4 games.
Our record, I mean, we've beaten Burgess Hill, Three Bridges, and Sittingbourne, so our record against crap commuter towns is very good. So that's quite promising.
Are you saying Haywards Heath is a crap commuter town?
I am saying that.
Yes.
I'm happy to go on record as saying that.
There's no cafe in the centre. It's shocking. So, yeah. It's
the chance for me to open up the first of my franchise.
Will it help borrow?
Yeah, I mean, Haywards Heath, I don't know how everyone's getting there. If anyone's listening to this, train station wise, if you're getting off at Haywards Heath, how far is it from the ground?
It's a bollocks walk.
It's a bit of a trek.
20 minutes?
Nah, like forever.
Oh, really?
Well, it's like through a park. Bullshit.
Occasionally a pub, you can find one.
I mean, it's walkable. Like, it's not, but don't do that.
Don't
do it.
Or turn up at half 11.
And also, and you won't want to walk back through the park in the dark, so you can't see where you're going, which is a bit of a.
We made that mistake last time, and I fell down the bank.
Yeah,
I think their firm might be waiting in the park for it.
It's a 25-minute walk. 25-minute walk.
25-minute walk. Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Oh, right. Well, I've got my coronavirus bloody booster jab on Saturday, haven't I? So
I got mine on Friday the 10th.
Oh, wait, are you not there, Andy? No.
No, so I won't be. I'm afraid. No. So the eloquence levels will be down. I'm afraid.
Dear.
Is that what the booster's for? Give you more eloquence? Is that where you're going? You get injected some vocabulary. It's like a thesaurus, liquid.
Yeah.
Before we finish, I must mention, because you don't know who listens to this, who listens to the forums and all this crap, I must clap in Robbie for more horns than fans comment. That was a good song you started up, Robbie. Well done. You were correct. That horn blower was very annoying.
Yeah.
It sounds like they were just getting behind Hastings, to be fair.
It did. It really did.
It was very bizarre. And obviously, we also got a wonderful rendition of "He's Got the Best Tackle in the League" from Johnny Wills. Johnny Wills.
There was one very constipated sort of groan of yellows. I think that was which I heard came sort of drifting up on the wind from behind the goal. That was about the best they got.
I thought there was a good chant. I think it came from Ralph. Actually, it was
Oh yeah.
It was riding about on the floor. It was "Get your red card out for the boys," wasn't it? I thought that was good.
Yeah, no, that was funny. Oh, Ralph.
Well, the ref actually did book someone for time wasting, didn't he?
About the four times of wasting a throw in.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I've got to book you now.
Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad. I was.
Oh, it was excruciating.
Miss a Stonewall handball. Where it can't be handball, and he gestures like arms were like, can you hit it like this? Exactly how a handball would be.
Yeah, but that was
absolutely.
Go on, sorry.
It was absolutely wonderful to see. Most of the abuse the keeper was getting was from children. That was
it.
And actually their keeper at the end applauding our home end was classy as well. It was good. Everything about last night was brilliant. It was a perfect evening at the football.
There was my moment before the red card was dished out where the keeper turned around and said, like, yeah, that was a bad challenge. That was a bad challenge. And some 12-year-old was telling him to fuck off. And he said, I'm agreeing with you. It was a bad challenge. And it's 12-year-old.
It's a 12-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah, and the keeper's like, whatever then.
No.
He was saying that it was yellow. He's like, yellow. But definitely a yellow. It was a bad challenge. What was a yellow? It's a yellow.
Yeah, he's just these 12-year-olds, eh?
The future's bright.
Yeah.
Future's Hastings.
Yeah. Well, listen, lads. Should we leave it there?
I thought Finn has played well in the games he's played so far.
Yeah.
Even though he does look like he's off Neighbours in the 80s.
It's a little bit. Obviously, the announcement of the programme was confirmed. We will find out about the ground on the 8th of December.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So, yeah.
Must mention Kane Penn as well. Kane, great game. And also just a big shout out to the mighty Quinn that is Bob Quinn. He is off to pastures new soon and he writes wonderful reports. I don't care what a certain Flat White Andy says. He writes great reports on Hastings United. He's a top bloke and he's moving away very soon.
He can have the criticism.
He's just
you're driven away. Andy, you're driven away.
He's moved to the nearest Aldi on the.
I can't believe he's taken it that badly.
He's moved not for that reason, Andy. But
Chris,
yeah, go on.
Just can you make sure you bring something Saturday?
Go on.
This, because you're going to need to pay to get in, mate. Make sure you bring some money, mate. You absolute scrounger.
Get out of it.
Milked it for long enough.
I got one game out of it. One game.
Hayward Heath is better than being sort of coerced into going to a Fat Boy Slim gig. I always think of those poor NHS workers that are told they've got a free ticket to a Fat Boy Slim gig. And I think, well, how do you feel?
Not for me.
They've already got access to free drugs. Why are they going to a Fat Boy Slim gig?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I think the only
Those
drugs
days
that
are gone, mate.
Only drugs that are Fat Boy Slim gig now be Sanatogen or something like that. Tonic wine.
See, and on that note, that beautiful note from the boys. Listen, thank you very much, Flat White Andy, lovely Leon, Robbie, Johnny Wills, and Georgie. Thanks so much, guys. Take care, and I think I'll be seeing you at the game.
Yeah. See you at the game, lads.
Have a good one.
That's it for another week, Hughes fans, and it's been a much better week all round. Not just the results, but the spirit and Never Say Die is back. Remember, if you want any questions, got any feedback, or want in on one of our weekly roundtables, the way to contact the show is, as ever, on email at hufcpod@gmail.com or on the Twitter, which is at HUFCpodcast. This podcast comes out on multiple platforms. For great video content, go to our YouTube channel, chock full of the video interviews from this podcast. There's just tons of content. Give it a look. comment, or a like. But please, please, please subscribe. It's all free. And the links to all of these ways of listening to the show are in the description. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week, and see you at the game.